One morning, as the sun peeked through the curtains of a house cloaked in a historical military aura, the distant sounds of bugle calls shrouded the air with a symphony of frustration. It was a routine that reverberated through the heart of the neighborhood, penetrating the tranquility of many morning routines. Among those stirred from their slumber was Karen McCarronson, a woman woven into the very fabric of the community, who felt the weight of every blaring note in her bones. Tired of the relentless mornings marked by those piercing sounds, she resolved it was time for action and made her way to the source, the notorious school fringed with red, white, and blue lights. Upon entering the school, Karen was greeted by the sharp, disciplined uniform of the teacher-soldier, who commanded both respect and a sense of order befitting his position. With curiosity and agitation woven into her demeanor, Karen voiced her concern about the bugle calls that gnawed at the early hours of their lives. The teacher's response was stiff, rooted in tradition. "It's a routine that we do." Karen, undeterred, countered with a simple yet audacious plea, her voice echoing against the stark walls. "You need to turn off the bugles." The soldier, his pride clearly affected, retorted with a hint of authority. "How do my students know what to do throughout the day?" The conversation teetered on the edge of confrontation as Karen stepped closer, asserting, "I can be the new teacher." Yet the teacher stood firm, proclaiming, "Actually, we don't need your entitlement here. The students actually love the way they are right now." His words stung, but they ignited a fire within Karen's resolve. Determined to make her point, she left the classroom, her mind a whirlwind of strategies. Venturing back into the halls adorned with patriotic lights, her eyes caught a glimpse of a red square box mounted on the wall, a fire alarm box, symbolizing a crux of authority. With determination radiating from her, she pulled it down, whispering to herself, "Whatever I want, I will get, because I am Karen." But in that moment, she embraced her power, the power to challenge the status quo, ready to rewrite her narrative in a world that thought it knew her. With the defiance coursing through her veins, Karen stepped back, envisioning not just change for herself, but for every weary soul waking to bugle calls. Her heart, once tethered to resentment, now surged with the possibility of a new dawn, ignited by the fiery realization that true empowerment began with her own unwavering spirit. Armed with the courage of conviction, she prepared to unleash her influence, ready to rewrite the everyday symphony that echoed through her life. In the bustling atmosphere of a school day, Karen found herself confronted by a stern sergeant. The flashing red, white, and blue lights were a sharp reminder of the authority cloaked in the figure of a notoriously strict teacher dressed in a sharp soldier's uniform. With the weight of the encounter settling in, she gathered her composure, her mind preoccupied with the task ahead, picking up her children from school. As she strolled down the familiar path, the school's vibrant colors seemed to fade into the backdrop of a deeper dialogue swirling in her thoughts. Amidst her reflections, she bumped into a man, the Arapaho Indian, who wore a welcoming smile. "Who are you?" she asked, curiosity piqued. His reply, light and warm, resonated with a playful tone. "I am your friendly neighborhood Arapaho." The amusement in his voice contrasted starkly with her skepticism. Karen couldn't help but scoff. "Friendly? Are you the one who befriends the talking turkey?" An unexpected chuckle emerged from the man, sparking a sense of camaraderie. "I am," he affirmed with a glint of mischief in his eyes. Karen's quick wit met this light-hearted banter head-on. "Turkeys aren't supposed to talk, but I have one at home for Thanksgiving. I might just invite him over to show him how a turkey behaves." As she spoke, she noticed the Arapaho's expression shift, a clever humor reflected in his eyes. "I don't think so. You won't bring my friend over for your Thanksgiving Ponzi scheme." His laughter echoed as Karen turned, still chuckling but now with a subtle change of heart. The encounter lingered in the air as she set off to collect her children, feeling an unexpected lightness, yet their exchange didn't end there. The thread of dialogue continued, weaving respect and livelihoods together. "In my day we accepted what we got without fuss. If we did, we were reprimanded," he remarked, evoking a sense of nostalgia. Karen bristled. "I would never treat my kids like that." His demeanor softened, inviting her to reconsider. "Bring them over to my place, and I'll show them what it means to respect." A spark of hope ignited in her. She replied, revealing her weekend plans, suggesting he watch over her children. His eyes lit up with the promise of joy. "I've always dreamed of looking after kids. They could become my little powwows." Intrigued, Karen inquired about the term, receiving a spirited description that blended tradition and festivity, a lesson in music and community. With a playful smirk, she jokingly adjured him not to let the children stage their own powwows. "We'll see about that," he replied, the promise of mentorship evident. Beginnings of an unexpected friendship bloomed, hinting at shared values of respect that transcended their respective worlds. As the sun cast long shadows over the school playground, Karen's heart swelled with warmth as she embraced her daughters. Excitement danced in her voice as she shared her weekend plans, revealing that a kind friend would be babysitting them. However, a cloud of uncertainty loomed over the girls, igniting a spark of trepidation. They sought reassurance in their mother's words, grappling with the unfamiliarity of this arrangement, their innocent minds swirling with questions and concerns about the stranger who would care for them while Karen enjoyed her adult plans. The man, a member of the Arapaho community, stood just a few paces away, his presence overwhelming yet inviting. His radiant smile contrasted sharply with the girls' somber expressions as they peered out timidly from the car. Karen painted a picture of the lovely yard where they would play, yet the lush greenery felt like a distant paradise to the girls, overshadowed by their fear of the unknown. They trembled at the idea of leaving their mother, their young hearts echoing loud protests as they instinctively clung to familiarity, hoping for her assurance that everything would be all right. Despite Karen's best efforts, the girls' nerves spiraled as the Arapaho man approached with an enthusiastic air. Phrases like "little powwows" and "fun" rang hollow in their ears, overshadowed by anxious thoughts. The man's laughter felt alien, a reminder of their isolation in this moment. As he coaxed them to step out, his kind demeanor clashed with their reluctance. Karen, watching the scene unfold, attempted to reassure her daughters that they would be safe, encouraging them to let go of their fears. Yet, uncertainty hung in the air, thick and tangible, as they made their way from the comfort of the car into an unfamiliar world, where laughter and joy seemed tantalizing, yet just out of reach. The sound of their voices, begging for their mother to return, revealed the internal struggle between childhood innocence and the looming reality of growing up, a sentiment that would stay with them long after the weekend's events. As the Arapaho man led the siblings away from the car, a mix of trepidation and curiosity filled the air. They had clung to their mother's assurances, her words echoing in their minds, pleading for her to stay with them a little longer. Yet the Arapaho man, with a calm authority, beckoned them inside. "Come on, guys, I need y'all to calm down now. She told you all that she would be back. Now let's go inside, where it's warm," he said, sensing the long day the children had endured. The air was thick with tension as the Arapaho man ushered the two girls inside, their bags trailing behind like lost hopes. Uneasy silence clung to the atmosphere, punctuated only by the faint sounds of hiccups and muffled sobs from the girls, who were taken aback by this unexpected turn in their day. Thoughts raced through their minds like wildfire, filled with images of their familiar tablets, their portals to adventure and imagination, now seemingly stripped away. As they began unpacking, a flicker of longing for their devices ignited their conversation. "Hey, Kelly, explain. Let's watch Cocomelon and adore the Explorer," Katie exclaimed, her voice a mere whisper against the looming shadows of uncertainty. Kelly, always one to rally for fun, chimed in, "Let's also watch Super Simple Songs, then we can watch Bubble Bath Bay." Their plans hung in the air, fragile and fleeting, until a thunderous voice shattered their bubble of joy. "Not in this house." The Arapaho man's proclamation echoed, startling the McCarranson girls into a startled silence, a void filled only by the soft rise and ebb of their whimpers. The simmering emotions bubbled over as Katie and Kelly found themselves at the edge of their teenage patience. "Give us our tablets back, or we will call the police." "Paw," they declared defiantly, their voices trembling yet resolute. The Arapaho man met their challenge with a fierce glance, booming back, "Excuse me, what was that for?" A fierce exchange of words unfolded, each side staunch in their position, illuminating the stark divide in their understanding. Despite their compelling arguments regarding their tablets, the man's powers of authority loomed larger, threatening to throw them deeper into despair with every retort. Then, in a moment of unexpected clarity, The Arapaho man treated the girls to an impromptu lesson on respect, outlining the cultural significance of a POW wow, a celebration amongst Native Americans. "You're throwing pity powwows, not the joyful gatherings I speak of," he explained, gently yet firmly establishing a connection between their tantrums and a richer cultural narrative. As he moved into the kitchen to prepare the evening meal, spicy yams, sliced turkey, and a rainbow of vibrant vegetables, the girls were left to reflect on their misunderstandings. Woven into this moment of silence, they began to grasp the preciousness of experience over possessions, realizing that surrendering to their anger would lead them nowhere. The inevitable lesson of humility was unfolding, subtle yet powerful, echoing in the quiet corners of their hearts as they began to internalize the essence of a real pow-wow. The realization washed over the two girls like a sudden summer storm. Katie and Kelly McCarronson sat cross-legged on the floor, their minds racing as they brainstormed their next move. What were they going to do now? The quiet hum of the house surrounded them, but it was clear this moment was anything but ordinary. With a sly glance exchanged between them, they ventured into a clandestine plotting session. One of them picked up a crayon and began to draw. A turkey, adorned with feathers that seemed to shimmer in the imaginary light. This wasn't just any turkey. It was the notorious teacher turkey, a creature of folklore that both adored and feared in their school. As the last stroke of red was completed, something shifted in the air. A soft, magical whisper echoed around them, beckoning the turkey to life. Katie and Kelly exchanged wide-eyed looks, hearts accelerating as they animated their creation. "I want you to go into the drawer and make you look like us," they chorused. This was the key to their success in executing their plan. The turkey promptly obliged, morphing into a mirror image of both girls, right down to the pigtails and mischievous grins. Grinning, they realized they had the perfect accomplices, two turkey doppelgangers to snag their tablets from the depths of the drawer. "Sneak our tablets out, and then we can watch shows without getting caught," Kelly whispered excitedly. The enchanted turkey sisters giggled as they carefully pulled out the tablets, whispering instructions, ensuring the volume was set low. There they were, huddled in a corner, oblivious to the world outside while their turkey clones carried out the heist. Just outside the room, someone else was busy. The Arapaho man was checking on his meal in the kitchen, blissfully unaware of the girls' plot unfolding behind him. His ever-watchful nature, however, was fortified by newly installed surveillance cameras, ensuring nothing slipped past him. Upon reviewing the footage, his heart raced with fury. "Those girls," he muttered, recognizing the cheeky twist of his turkey friend alongside the twins. The sight boiled his blood as he realized they were now commanding the drawings to secure yet another heist. "They are in so much trouble now," he declared, knowing that their entitlement would not bubble over without consequences. The stage was set for an impending confrontation, with humor and magic woven into a tapestry of childhood mischief. As the evening sun cast golden hues across the landscape, the Arapaho man strolled back to his kitchen, unaware of the delightful encounter that awaited him. A gentle knock on the door drew his attention, whispering a familiar beckoning. With a smile that danced upon his lips, he opened the door to find none other than the turkey teacher, a figure known for his whimsical charm and minuscule bead-like sensations that delighted young learners. "How are you doing today?" the Arapaho man inquired with warmth. The turkey, bright-eyed, replied, "I'm actually doing well, still enjoying my Scottish small pipes." A glimmer of curiosity sparked in the Arapaho man's heart as the turkey continued, "Have you ever thought about playing the Scottish small pipes or any bagpipe?" With a chuckle, the Arapaho man admitted, "I don't even know how to play those. But I do play the Native American flute and have friends who drum. Perhaps I could learn about your bagpipes one day." The turkey's eyes twinkled at the suggestion of a musical collaboration. "What if we met tonight? I could play my Scottish small pipes, and you could join with your flute." The Arapaho man felt a surge of excitement. "That sounds splendid, but first I have business to attend to. Let's meet later." The turkey, ever understanding, nodded, assuring him, "No worries, I'll see you tonight." With a wave, the turkey departed, his mind racing with familiar sensations from his classroom, the tiny beads of curiosity and wonder, akin to grains of sand. Meanwhile, back in the Arapaho's kitchen, the air shifted with unexpected melodies. Familiar tunes echoed through the room, Old MacDonald had a farm filled the air, infectious and joyous. Yet, a pang of concern pierced through the laughter. Something felt amiss with the two McCarranson girls, their mischief evident from the sounds filtering through the walls. He ventured into the next room, and upon catching a glimpse, he declared, "I caught you both in the act." Their innocent protestations of no rang out as they pleaded their case, but the Arapaho was resolute. "You'll both sit in the corners and reflect on your decisions." With care, he ushered them to their seats, pondering how they planned to clone his turkey friend and sneak sweet treats while indulging in their favorite shows. As they sat in contemplation, the kitchen brimmed with a blend of laughter and lessons, preparing the scene for a night woven with music and camaraderie. In the heart of the kitchen, the Arapaho man stirred a fragrant mix of ingredients, each movement steeped in anticipation. The rhythmic motion reminded him of the warmth and laughter he shared with his turkey friend, who was just outside, pecking at the ground. The day was filled with a sense of purpose, yet his thoughts drifted to the distant echoes of laughter from the girls. But the peaceful atmosphere was interrupted by the faint sounds of two voices filtering through the walls. "Hey, Kelly," one girl chirped, "let's sing our favorite songs, but quietly." "Okay," came the soft reply, a hint of excitement hidden beneath a respectful tone. It was a cherished childhood memory, an innocent act of joy bubble forth despite the present circumstances. They began to sing, the familiar notes of "Old MacDonald Had a Farm" wrapping around the room like a comforting blanket, yet a slight tension hung in the air, like a cloud ready to burst. The Arapaho man stood up straight, mildly amused but mostly concerned as he made his way toward the source of the melodic mischief. "Don't think I don't hear you both," he boomed, his voice echoing like thunder. The girls stopped, startled, and quickly defended their cheerful jab. "But our mother lets us do this." They were innocent in their defiance, yet he felt a different melody rising within him, woven from the threads of tradition and respect. His thoughts wandered to the heart of their argument, the absence of a maternal figure guiding them. "If I was y'all's father," he proclaimed with authority, "y'all would not have cocomelon, you'd be learning the traditions of my people." There was a passionate weight to his voice, for traditions held a sacred place in his heart. A quiet understanding lingered in the room, a longing for connection to roots that seemed just out of reach. With a resolute nod, he turned back to his cooking, the aromatic steam swirling around him like whispers of the past. He hoped the delicious concoction would fill not just the stomachs of the girls, but soothe their hearts as well. As the Arapaho man stirred, he felt the weight of unspoken stories settling within the walls, a reminder of love and loss shared among them. Through muffled tears and whispered secrets, the girls expressed a plea of yearning. "We miss our mother. We want her to come back." The air filled with silent acceptance. They all wished for something more, a return of warmth where laughter could again reign free. In a quaint cottage where laughter mingled with the aroma of baking goods, the Arapaho man was busy in the kitchen, chopping and stirring, completely immersed in his culinary adventure. Meanwhile, in the adjacent room, the McCarranson girls were joyfully crafting a whimsical tune, their voices harmonizing like a gentle breeze in a sunlit meadow. As they sang, "Old MacDonald Had a Lawyer, E-I-E-I-O." The melody danced through the air, a humorous twist on a familiar classic. The girls, fueled by giggles, took delight in transforming the lyrics, declaring that Old Mac Arapaho had a turkey. Their playful lyrics bounced from corner to corner as they incorporated a routine of knock-knock sounds that seemed to come alive, punctuating their version of the song with infectious laughter. Kelly stumbled on her words, mixing up the verses, causing Katie to erupt in joyous laughter, exclaiming, "That is the best version of Old MacDonald I could ever imagine." Their giggles infused the air with a sense of creativity and delight. Just then, the door swung open, and the Arapaho man entered, his brow knitted in confusion. With a curious expression, he overheard the girls giggling about the song. "What's going on?" he inquired, his voice laced with curiosity. However, the atmosphere shifted abruptly as the lawyer appeared at the door, papers in hand, a serious expression on his face. "I'm here to serve documents," he stated, the urgency hanging thick in the air. The Arapaho's eyes widened in shock. "My friend is being sued for trespassing on my property," he exclaimed, disbelief washing over his features. The lawyer, unperturbed, replied, "We can present this to the judge, but it's crucial to gather evidence." At that moment, the conversation grew tense, fueled by a sense of foreboding, as the Arapaho recalled the joyous moments shared with his turkey friend. As the Arapaho returned to his kitchen, frustration simmering beneath the surface, another knock echoed through the room. "I hope it's not the lawyer again," he muttered, bracing for more disruptions. To his surprise, a familiar, buoyant voice greeted him. It was the turkey teacher, full of conspiratorial ideas. The unexpected twist brightened the mood as the turkey accepted the gradual unfolding of the day's chaos, leaving the Arapaho hoping for a resolution amid the growing turmoil. Little did they know, the McCarranson girls were about to discover the intricacies of their cheerful song against a backdrop of unexpected legal drama. In the dim glow of his kitchen, the Arapaho man stirred the evening meal, the aroma of simmering spices weaving through the air. His turkey friend, a whimsical companion, conversed in cheerful clucks, bringing levity to a long day. They shared stories as laughter danced between them, a simple yet profound moment that wove the fabric of their friendship in the warmth of home. But this serenity was shattered by unexpected news, delivered by a lawyer who entered with a confident stride. "I have some really surprising news," the lawyer announced, his eyes gleaming with implications that caused the Arapaho's heart to race. "The judge threw the case out," the lawyer continued, knowing the local dynamics all too well, the unsung tales of tiny beads that held reputations on the line. The Arapaho smiled. The weight on his turkey friend's chest lifted as the truth unfolded. "Exactly," the lawyer said, waving his hand dismissively, indicating the matter was settled. With relief washing over him, the Arapaho felt a wave of gratitude as he thanked the lawyer, who instilled a sense of justice amid the chaos. Yet, as the turkey inquired about fetching his small pipes, the world outside beckoned with its expectations. Returning to his living room, the Arapaho's demeanor shifted. He confronted the two girls, their playful giggles turning into startled gasps. Questions about their definition of fun spilled from him like the steam from his bubbling pot, a serious concern hidden beneath a feigned outrage. "You could ruin my turkey friend's reputation," he exclaimed, his voice resonating with authority. The girls silenced. A wave of realization washed over them. They were on the precipice of learning a lesson, not one of punishment, but of conscience. With each word anchored in the weight of experience, the Arapaho recounted the stricter lessons of his youth. Memories flickered in his mind, discussions not merely as warnings, but as echoes of respect. "Back in my day, we'd face repercussions," he said, a solemn reminder that their current whims carried unanticipated burdens. He left them with their thoughts, enveloping the room in heavy contemplation as he retreated to his unfinished dinner, unwilling to ignore the truths that needed teaching. In his heart, though the girls were insistent, he knew his role was to guide, to steer them away from becoming entitled spirits lost in carefree mischief. In the dimly lit room, the atmosphere buzzed with an anxiety that settled heavily in the air, suffocating any remnants of laughter. The Arapaho man stood firm, his voice a mixture of authority and disappointment as he confronted the two girls. "What makes you think that you can get away with this?" he exclaimed, his words slicing through the silence like a knife. The girls exchanged glances, a flicker of fear mingling with defiance as they attempted to explain themselves. "Well, we thought we were going to have fun here." The Arapaho man's response was swift and firm, an impenetrable wall rising between them. "This is not the fun that you will be having here this weekend. It's already your first night, and your mother is clearly not a good influence on you." Each word resonated with a gravity that weighed down on the girls, pushing them deeper into their seats, their ambitious dreams of an adventurous weekend collapsing into a silent understanding of their predicament. Yet uncertainty brewed in one of them, prompting Kelly to protest. "But Mr. Arapaho—" "Excuse me," he shot back, his gaze piercing as if to silence any further dissent. "I better not hear a peep about your mother." The atmosphere thickened with a palpable tension, and silence enveloped them before one girl dared to explain, "But our mother lets us do these things." That admission hung like a dark cloud, heavy with rebellion and misunderstanding, as the girls retreated into a quiet solitude, their soft hiccups merging with muffled cries. They knew deep down that this was not the carefree weekend they had envisioned. The disappointment loomed larger as the Arapaho man continued, his voice softer yet equally potent. "If I was your father, you would not be doing this. Y'all would not be able to stand for weeks." His words dripped with a mixture of concern and resolve, igniting a warm shame within the girls that only deepened their silence. Sadness muffled their responses as realization began to dawn. This was not the promised adventure, but a lesson steeped in sternness and restraint. Their imaginations had painted one picture, but the reality was starkly different. As the Arapaho man retreated to the kitchen, the echoes of his words reverberated in their minds. "Y'all will be sitting there for a while until the food is prepared. I better not see you sneaking into that drawer to get your tablets again. We can have fun, but y'all will not be watching those so-called shows." He walked away, leaving them in a shroud of solemnity, the silence now filled with their whispered fears and glares at the closed door. This weekend, meant to be free, had morphed into an experience that would stay etched into their minds, a moment of clarity amidst confusion, where the true essence of adventure was realized far beyond their childish expectations. The realization hit the McCarranson sisters like a wave crashing against a shore. Victory was no longer within reach. As they sat back in their chairs, their minds swirled with thoughts of what had just unfolded. Across the room, in the faint glow of the kitchen, the Arapaho man busied himself among pots and pans, but his thoughts echoed the same inquiries that occupied the girls' minds. "Why did this happen to us?" Kelly's voice broke the silence, a tone tinged with confusion and vulnerability. "I don't know," Katie sighed, her eyes downcast. "Maybe he just wants us to connect with him on a deeper level." To this, Kelly shook her head defiantly. "That's not how it is back home." Just then, the Arapaho man's voice boomed through the air, breaking their contemplation. "It is time, kids, come on!" The resounding chime of his bell signaled that a meal was ready, pulling the sisters from their thoughts and reigniting their curiosity. With a blend of uncertainty and excitement, the girls jumped down and shuffled into the kitchen. Their curiosity piqued as they caught sight of a sumptuous feast laid out before them. "What is this?" they asked, their eyes wide as they took in the beautifully presented dishes. The Arapaho man smiled, his warmth filling the room. "I cooked a turkey. However, this is not my friend. I would never cook my talking turkey friend." A wave of relief washed over the sisters. They understood that no harm would come to his beloved companion. Though reassured, they remained intrigued, eager to explore what the meal had to offer. Kelly couldn't help but bring familiarity to the strange meal. "You know, our mother usually lets us have pizza." Katie picked up where Kelly left off. "And McDonald's, too." The Arapaho chuckled. "Well, those days are long gone, so let's try this. It's not just turkey. I've also prepared stuffing, and you might like this even more. What are they? Just give it a taste." Taking careful bites, the girls discovered flavors that piqued their interest. "This tastes like a potato," Kelly exclaimed, eyes lighting up. "Yes, that is called a yam," the Arapaho explained with pride. "In other words, it's a sweet potato." Their astonishment mingled with delight. "We've never had this before." "Well, you have now," he replied, urging them onward. "Just wait, you might love it again." Engrossed in their meal, Kelly's longing for more yams permeated the air. "Can we have more of the yams?" she asked. "Finish what's there first and then you can," he replied playfully, prompting them to savor every bite of their newfound culinary adventure.